What is downselling? Fantastic question. And can you do it ethically? Of course you can. In this video, I'm going to show you many ways to collect when a customer actually says no. Let's dive in. All right, everyone, welcome to Sales 101. Your training starts now. A no does not mean no in sales, okay? A no means not right now in sales. When I was in door-to-door sales, they're very, very serious on this. They said, look, if somebody says no to you when you're knocking on their door, right? They knock on the door and you're like, hey, welcome. I was selling pest control at the time. I also sold security and some other software once. And I was like, hey, you want the sale? They're like, no. You're like, okay. And you just like shut the door. That's not how that works. You have to understand that the moment somebody says no is actually when selling begins. So we actually had some tactics to try to get to no as fast as possible. Funny enough, that might sound backwards, but we did. And so what we would do is we go in and we would knock on the door and be like, hey, we're excited. Hey, pest control. They'd be, is 4 or 5 o'clock okay for you today? They'd be like, what? No. I'd be like, oh, thankfully I can move forward. Super funny that's the way it is. If it really was a no, they'd shut the door, right? So you understand? So a no is not a no. A no actually is the beginning of the sale, because sales' job is to find out what is stopping them and help you move around it and continue to move forward down the path towards the sale. Does that make sense? So keep that in mind. No does not mean no. No means not right now. So I'm going to show you a few ways to make additional cash when somebody says no, now that they're guiding you through the sale. All right, first, quick mentality check. I once watched Frank Kern, who I absolutely love. He's awesome. He sat down at his table, and he had this big old bucket of mints. And he grabbed a few mints, and he put a few mints on the table, and he goes, this represents the amount of people who are ready to buy from you right now. And then he grabbed a little handful of mints, and he's like, quite a bit more. He's like, this represents the people that are ready to buy from you soon, right? And then he goes, took the rest of the big massive vat and just dumped it on the table. And he goes, these are the people that are ready to buy from you someday. All right, this is key to realize and recognize. When you go off and you pitch somebody and you're like, buy my product right now, buy my product right now. The sample size of people that are ready to purchase from you in the moment is like, it's really, really small. The next one is the one I actually do most focus on. The next one is the one, so I call it now, soon, someday. Actually, he did, right? Now, soon, Sunday. So now, I certainly am going to take money off the table that is agreeing when they're like, hey, I'm going to buy that product. But the soon category is significantly larger than the one that's ready right now. And I want to be able to build for that, okay? So this is another reason why we do downsells. If somebody says no and they're guiding us through the sale, soon, right? That's the hope. That's the hope. So what I'm going to do is show you a few things you can do inside the funnels, inside of the pages, inside of your sales process to naturally ask for cash when the answer is no, and not do it in a high pressure way, because I don't want you to do that either. All right, I'm just going to riff off several ways that you can do this. First, understand that discounting is one of the fastest ways to ask for the sale when someone says no. So think about this. You go in and somebody gives you a quote. Let's say you have a handyman or some professional in your house, and they're like, hey, I can fix that toilet or whatever. And you're like, not for that price. What's the first thing that comes down usually? The price, all right? So if somebody is like, oh man, I would totally buy that, but they're hung up on price, discounting is, I hate discounting, but it is one of the first things you can do to naturally ask for the sale if the answer was already no and they're like, we don't know if we want to do that. Next one is the payment plan. I love payment plans. Payment plans are really popular inside of sales funnel building, because what we'll do is we'll have an upsell and we'll have another upsell. If they say no to the second one, we will put a downsell that says, hey, maybe it's just not a good time for you, or maybe times are tight. I can't imagine a reason that you would not want this product other than the price itself. So we can collect from you in 3 different payments. Is that all right? Yes or no? So a payment plan, it's not discounting. All we do is we collect it in installments. Super common, very popular inside of the internet marketing and sales funnel space to put a payment plan as a downsell when somebody says no. By the way, I just did a video about what upselling is. So if you're looking at downselling, up above there's a card they're going to put right there called What is Upselling, and you can watch that one as well. Another great method is less product for less money. So the scenario is you've come up and you said, hey, here's everything you're going to get in the offer. And they're like, nah. And you're like, that's fine. If you don't want this, what you could get is you still get the main thing with way less bonuses, and it's like 1/3 the price. That's a great strategy. Russell Brunson started doing that with his One Funnel Away challenge, where he was like, hey, do you want everything in One Funnel Away challenge for $100? And then after a while, people were like, I want to take the challenge again, but not for $100. He's like, don't worry about it. You'll get less of it, so we're not going to send you out the physical stuff. but you can still take the digital version for 50 bucks. That makes sense? Its conversions went way up. So the same product, but just less of it for a steep discount, great method. Another great method if someone has said no to you is to show them the a la carte pricing. Think about, yes, I've eaten at McDonald's, all right? So here it is, that's the public acknowledgement. But think about when you walk into a McDonald's and they're like, here's the combo price and it's just slightly cheaper. Here's the combo price for all those things together. You know what, I don't know if I'm feeling a combo. It's like, that's fine, here's the rest of the stuff a la carte. That's a great way to still collect and make money, even if it's not the same amount and it's not a lot. You literally, it's very similar to the one I just said before, but you're kind of letting them choose a la carte what they like to do. All right, let's customize the offer for you. What do you actually need, right? That's a great theme to use when you're moving forward on this. What do you actually need? Let's, if that wasn't it, then let's a la carte put this together. What would actually serve your needs here? Another great strategy is to show them what they lose if they do not act forward and they do not move forward. This one is very common and probably a little bit overused in my opinion. It is a straight urgency scarcity play. And you're like, oh, you don't want this? Well, do you know that all goes away tomorrow at midnight? The problem is that if it doesn't actually go away tomorrow at midnight, for me, that's unethical. It's lying, right? And so there's a lot of people who do that. It's like, and I'm not throwing rocks, it's the reality, all right? It's each their own on that piece, but I'm not a huge fan of that. And so try to find a legitimate reason for them to act. And if you can't find a legitimate reason for them to act, I would not use that strategy, okay? So one of the things you can do, but I'm not saying it doesn't work though. Okay, so if someone says no to you by telling them what things leave if they wait to act, that's a fantastic method. Hey guys, before I show you one of my favorite methods to downsell, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. In the comments, I thought it'd be funny. Tell me what the slimiest, sleaziest, don't put names, don't tag anybody, don't tag a company, don't make any kind of identifiable thing, but what's been the slimiest, greasiest car salesman experience you've ever had on the internet? Someone who's just oh, that was just, you know what I'm talking about? It's nasty, doesn't care about you, but pure sale. That's super fun. I actually really like those, they're funny. Hey guys, my favorite way to create a downsell is actually when, this happened at an event. I was doing an event and day 2, I always pitch. And then day 3, we will re-pitch to those who said no. Now, there's 2 different ways to do this though. In 2019, we did a straight re-pitch of the exact same product. So we pitched and there were a lot of people bought. And the next day we pitched the exact same product. That method works, and a lot of times you can double sales by doing that, or at least get a quarter more sales doing that. The other way to do it though is where you pitch on day 2 and then downsell a completely different thing. That's kind of a nice way to do it because you're not pulling, I kind of favor the latter of what I just said, where you pitch and then you downsell a different product. And the reason is because I don't want a cheaply discounted experience for anything in my life. And if you're coming in and you're telling me, here's a la carte, or here's the same product but way less, maybe it's just my personality, maybe it's my identity, but I'm like, I don't want a discounted anything. I would rather get a different thing that just is cheaper. That's a great method that also can kind of save, for mentalities like mine, it can kind of save face for some buyers who want to buy something, but they're like, it's out of my price range, or I don't know if I want that. That's a great way to downsell. Just literally give them a different something else, steeply different in price. If you're watching this video, you believe that sales is a good thing. I want to give you a shirt that says we also believe that. I want to give you the Capitalist Pig shirt. Go to capitalismswag.com. The shirt itself is free. We just ask that you cover the shipping, which is $9. I go in the hole, a couple dollars actually on this, but we want to welcome you into our community by saying, hey, fellow Capitalist Pig, it's free. The link is in the description below.